Good afternoon to all. How are you all? Please respond. My audio and video are clear. Yes. Hello, Chaitanya. Good afternoon to all. Yes. Sindhu, Padmaja, Harika. Good morning. Good afternoon to all. Okay. Everything is clear, right? So yesterday we started the parts of a flowering plant, right? Are you completed the reading part? Everyone? Yes. Okay. Good. Yeah. Root system. Do you completed root system? Yes. May I ask a few questions? May I ask few questions regarding the yesterday's content before we are going to start today's topic? Yes. Okay. What is meant by morphology? What is meant by morphology? Please respond quickly. Yes. Very good. Study of form. Study of external structure. Very good. Very good. So the branch of biology which deals with the study of form, external structure is known as morphology. Good. Which plants are called flowering plants? Which plants are called flowering plants? Yes. Very good. Angiosperms are called flowering plants, right? Yes. Mainly an angiospermic plant consisting of how many parts? Mainly an angiospermic plant consists of how many parts? Two parts. Yes, very good, very good. What are the two parts? The underground part called root system, the part of the plant that is present above the ground, that is shoot system. Good, very good, very good. Then, how many types of root systems are present in plants generally? Root systems are of how many types? Good. There are three types. Right. The three types are tap root system, fibrous root system, and adventitious root system. Very good. Right, right, right. Tap root system formed from which part of the embryo? Which part of the embryo gives rise to taproot system? Very good. Radicle. Radicle gives rise to main root called primary root. Right. Primary root gives rise to secondary root, tertiary roots. All these roots are called lateral roots. Okay, good, good, good. You're following very well. Okay. Then, the root system arises from any part of the plant body other than the radicle is called. The root system which is formed from any part of the plant body other than the radicle is called adventitious root system. Very good, very good. Okay, finally, I will ask, taproot system is commonly seen in. Taproot system is commonly seen in dicots. Good, good, very good. Adventitious root system is seen in. Adventitious root system is seen in both, very good, both in dicots and monocots. Can you say examples? Can you give examples of the plants having adventitious roots? Yes, banyan tree, monstera, grasses. Very good, very good. Right. Lastly, examples of the plants having fibrous root system. Examples of the plants having fibrous root system. Wheat, rice, maize. Okay, good, good, good. So you're following very well. Nice. If you follow like this and understand botany, definitely you will get good marks and you will learn good subject. Okay, good. Okay. Before we are going to start, the stem, I want to explain briefly the regions of a root. After that, we go to the stem. Okay? Nice, nice. Thank you. Regions of root. A typical root is having the following parts, namely the root cap, region of meristematic activity, region of elongation, and region of maturation. See all of you. See now. Parts of a typical root or regions of a typical root. Right. As I said, it is having the following regions. Okay. See, all of you, this is a typical root. That means a part of the root, it is having the following regions. First one is the root cap. This is the root cap, and this part is called region of meristematic activity. Region of meristematic activity, and this part is called region of elongation. This part is called region of maturation. Okay? Region of meristematic activity, region of elongation, region of maturation, or you can also call simply as meristematic region, elongation region, maturation region. See, the tip of the root is covered by root cap. The tip of the root is covered by root cap. This is thimble shaped. Root cap is thimble shaped. Means cap like. It is cap like. Shape of the root cap is thimble shaped, cap like. It gives protection to the root tip. First function of the root cap is gives protection to the root tip. Because root tip is the growing part. Whenever it may touches with the hard surface, the root tip may be damaged because it contains root apical meristem. That is the growing point. And that growing point is damaged. The root cannot grow further. Therefore, that is covered by a thimble shaped structure, also called root cap. And second function is it secretes some sort of mucilage for easy penetration of the root into the soil. Those are the two functions of the root cap. Root cap is thimble shaped. Root cap covers the apex of the root, and root cap perform two functions. One is protection, and second one is it secrete mucilage so that it helps in easy penetration of the root into the soil. And remember, this root cap can be regenerated. If any case root cap is lost, the root cap is again regenerated. Okay? Because of the presence of root cap, this root apex is not terminal and it becomes a subterminal. Hope you understand. Because of the presence of root cap, the root apex growing point is subterminal. It is not terminal. It is subterminal. Okay? It is subterminal. Right. Now, this portion, this is called meristematic region. This region is the meristematic region where the cells of this region are small, thin-walled, contain abundant protoplasm. I repeat, the cells of meristematic region are small in size, thin-walled, and contain abundant protoplasm. And the function of these cells is repeatedly divide and form new cells is the function of the meristematic region. Understand? And it is about just 1 millimeter in length. Approximately, it is 1 millimeter in length. And this part is called as region of meristematic activity. Just above the region of meristematic activity, that means proximal to the region of meristematic activity, proximal to region of meristematic activity, there is a region of elongation, or otherwise you can say region of elongation or elongation region lies between region of meristematic activity and region of maturation. Between the maturation region and meristematic region, region of elongation is present. The cells of this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement. Because of that, the length of the root increases. So, elongation of the root takes place in this region. Understand? Growing point of the root is meristematic region. The length of the root increases in this part, that is in the region of elongation. Proximal to the region of elongation, there is a maturation region. Proximal to above the region of elongation, there is a maturation region. In this region, the cells are differentiated and becomes mature. The cells are differentiated and becomes mature in region of maturation. Some epidermal cells of this region produces root hairs. These are root hairs. Root hairs are present in the region of maturation. Root hairs are present in the region of maturation. Right? What are root hairs? Root hairs are unicellular epidermal extensions They are nothing but extensions of epidermal cells. And these are always unicellular. Whatever may be the length of the cell, that is unicellular. Root hairs are unicellular. Root hairs are not permanent structures. They are ephemerals. That means older root hairs are replaced by new root hairs. And these root hairs are present in acropetal manner. You have to understand these terminology. Acropetal. Root hairs are arranged in acropetal manner. Okay. Older roots are at the base. Younger roots are at the apex. This is the base. This is the apex. So, older roots are at the base. Older root hairs are at the base. Younger root hairs are at the apex. Such arrangement is called acropetal arrangement. And gradually older root hairs are replaced by new root hairs. That means these are not permanent. Okay? And these root hairs are meant for absorption of water and minerals from the soil. And these root hairs increases the surface area of absorption. More the root hairs, more is the amount of water absorbed. So that means these root hairs play a very important role in the absorption of water and minerals from the soil. All epidermal cells does not produce root hairs. Only some epidermal cells produces root hairs. So these root hairs are produced in the region of maturation. Finally, we conclude now. There are 4 parts in this root, a typical root. Maturation region, elongation region, meristematic region, and root cap. Tip of the root is covered by a thimble-shaped structure called root cap. Proximal to the root cap, meristematic region is present. Proximal to the meristematic region, elongation region is present. Proximal to the elongation region, maturation region is present. Or you can say like this. Distal to the maturation region, elongation region is present. Distal to the elongation region, meristematic region is present. And distal to the meristematic region, root cap is present. From tip to the base, proximal. From base to the tip, distal. Okay. Now I will ask one important question. Which region is present distal to the maturation zone and proximal to the meristematic zone? Which region is present distal to the maturation zone, proximal to the meristematic zone? Yes, very good, very good. Elongation zone. Distal to the maturation zone, proximal to the meristematic zone. Elongation zone. Finally, in which region the root becomes elongated, the length of the root increases? Which part of this root elongation occurs or length of the root increases? That is region of elongation. Which region is called meristematic region? Which region is called meristematic region? This one, meristematic. What is the main function of the meristematic region? Anybody? What is the main function of meristematic region? The main function of the meristematic region is cell division. Cell division. Divide and form new cells. That is the main function of the meristematic region. And that region is the growing point. Growing point. Why the growing point is subterminal? Anybody? Why the growing point is subterminal, not the terminal? Why the growing point is subterminal but not terminal? Because of the presence of root cap. Very good. Yes. Okay, right? Is it root cap is regenerated? Or once lost, it cannot be regenerated? Is it root cap is because of some reasons lost? Is it again regenerated? Yes, it is regenerated. And in some plants, multiple root cap may be present. For example, pandanus. A plant called pandanus contain multiple layers of cap is present. That is called multiple root cap. In a plant called pandanus, multiple root cap is present. And lastly, what is the arrangement of root hairs? I told you one name. What is the arrangement of root hairs? In that arrangement, older root hairs are at the base, younger root hairs are at the apex. Acropetal arrangement. Opposite word for that, basipetal arrangement. Okay? Basipetal, acropetal arrangement. Okay, students. So that is about the regions of root. Now we go to the next topic, that is the stem. I hope you understand, everyone, the regions of the root. And this is very, very important as far as NEET exam is concerned. Not only this one, every point, every part is very, very important. There is no specifically this is important, this is less important, this is more important. As far as me is concerned, every point, every part is important. Right? Right. Next one is the stem. Already I told you some points related to stem. Once again, we will repeat now also. The stem. What is stem? The main axis of the plant body that is present above the ground level is called as the stem. We can say stem is the ascending part. Root is the descending part. Stem is the ascending part. Root is the descending part. Stem bears branches, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Yes, stem contains branches, flowers, and fruits. Stem is positively phototropic. What is the meaning of positively phototropic? I told you yesterday, root is negatively phototropic. but stem is positively phototropic. They grow towards light. Stem grows towards the light. Root grows away from the light. That is why that is negatively phototropic. This is positively phototropic. Or otherwise you can say it is negatively geotrophic. And also it is negatively hydrotrophic also. Yes, all these are opposite to root. Root is the descending axis. Stem is the ascending part. Root bears lateral roots. The stem bears branches, leaves, flowers, fruits. Root is positively geotrophic. It is negatively geotrophic. That is positively hydrotrophic. This is negatively hydrotrophic. That is negatively phototropic. This is positively phototropic. Are you following all? Yeah, very good. Next, the shoot system formed from plumule. The shoot system formed from plumule of germinating seed. Germinating seed. That means plumule develops into shoot system or the stem. Radicle gives rise to root system. Plumule gives rise to shoot system. Shoot system arises from plumule. Where is the plumule? Plumule is one end of the embryonal axis. For example, yesterday I have drawn a diagram here. See, this is the dicot embryo, I told you, and this is the embryonal axis. One end of the axis is called radicle. This radicle gives rise to root system. Other end is called plumule. This plumule gives rise to shoot system. Okay? Very, very important point. Radicle gives rise to root system. Plumule gives rise to shoot system. Right. And the main difference between the stem and the root is having nodes and internodes. Root is having nodes and internodes. Yes. The main difference between the root system, root and stem, simply you can say, is that root does not contain nodes and internodes, but stem contain nodes and internodes. Okay? Right. Generally, young stems are green in color. Young stems are green in color due to the presence of chlorophyll, and therefore they can synthesize food material by a process called photosynthesis. Okay? Young stems are green in color, and hence they synthesize food material by a unique process called photosynthesis. But the older stems are dark brown in color. These are the basic points, and gradually it becomes woody. Young stems are green, older stems are dark brown and woody. Understand? And I told you already that, think that this is the stem, okay? And the stem is divisible into nodes and internodes like this. At each node, a leaf arises like this. Okay? Right. So this is node. A node is a place where leaf arises. The portion between the two nodes is called internode. The portion between the two nodes is called internode. A node is a place where leaf arises. Then what is a node? We are talking about always node. The node is a point, growing point where the meristem is present that gives rise to leaf, right? And you know, the stems may be solid or hollow. In case of grasses, particularly in bamboo, at internodes, the stem is hollow, and at node, it is solid. The stems may be solid or hollow. Okay? Now, so the stem is divided into nodes and internodes. A node is a place where leaf arises. The distance between the two nodes is called internode, and the angle between the stem and the leaf is called axil. The axil contain axillary buds. Then what is a bud? A bud is a condensed, immature, growing structure covered by leaf-like structures. Okay? Based on nature, the buds are divided into two types, namely vegetative buds and floral buds. Based on the nature, buds are divided into two types. They are vegetative bud, floral bud. Based on the position, the buds are divided into two types. Apical bud and apical or terminal, and axillary bud, axillary or lateral buds. Based on the position, the buds are classified into two types, apical or terminal buds, axillary or lateral buds. See, there are two types are classified. Based on nature, buds are two types. Vegetative buds, these buds gives rise to branches. Floral bud, this bud produces flowers. And see, based on the position, two types of buds, apical buds, axillary buds. Axillary buds may act as vegetative bud or floral bud. Apical bud maintain vertical growth of the plant body. Apical bud maintain vertical growth of the plant body that is generally present at the tip of the stem, tip of the branch. And these buds are called apical buds. I think you understand regarding the characteristics of stems. Okay? I repeat once again. Stem is the ascending part. Stem bears branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. Stem is positively phototropic. Stem is negatively geotropic. Stem is negatively hydrotrophic. Stem develops from plumule of the embryonal axis during seed germination. And stem is divisible into nodes and internodes. And young stems are generally green in color and helps in photosynthesis. and older stems are dark brown and they become woody. And similarly, the upper angle between the stem and leaf contain buds. Buds are classified variously. Based on the nature, buds are two types, vegetative buds and floral buds. Based on the position, buds are two types, terminal buds and axillary buds. Terminal bud maintain vertical growth. Axillary bud may form the branch or they may produce flowers, depending on the nature of action, right? Now, let us see the functions of the stem. Functions of stem. First one is spreading out its branches. Spreading out its branches, which bear leaves, flowers, and fruits. That is the first function. Try to understand carefully. The function of the stem is spreading out its branches. Already branches bear flowers, fruits, and leaves, so that they are exposed to sunlight for carrying out photosynthesis. That is the one important function of the stem. Spreading out its branches, which bear leaves, flowers, and fruits. Second one is the stem contains vascular tissues such as xylem and phloem. There are tube-like structures in the plant body. One tube is called xylem, another tube is called phloem. Xylem is meant for conduction of water and minerals, and phloem is meant for conduction of food material. Therefore, the stem contains vascular tissues, and hence they helps in conduction of water, minerals, and photosynthetes. Photosynthetes. Photosynthate means the product of photosynthesis. That is the food material. That is the food material. These are the main functions of the stem. One is spreading out its branches. Second one is conduction of water and minerals. These two are conducted through xylem. Xylem is a water conducting tissue, and phloem is a food conducting tissue. Water and minerals are conducted through xylem. Phloem is responsible for conduction of food materials. And these two tissues combinedly form vascular bundle, and these are commonly called vascular tissues. As the stem contain these vascular tissues, they helps in conduction of water, minerals, and food material. Along with that, the stems of some plants also helps in storage of food material, support, protection, and vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation. The stems of some plants also perform these functions. They are storage of food material, support, protection, and vegetative propagation. These are the overall functions of stem. I repeat once again, stem performs the following functions. Generally, all the stems perform spreading out of its branches. The branches bears leaves, flowers and fruits. Second one is stem helps in conduction of water and minerals and also photosynthate. Nothing but the end product of photosynthesis. That is the food material. That is the sucrose. And this is possible because the stem contain vascular tissues. Two types of tissues, namely xylem and phloem, are called vascular tissues. These are also called conducting tissues. Vascular tissues are also called conducting tissues, right? Along with these, the stems of some plants also helps in storage of food material and becomes fleshy, swollen, and some may helps in support for climbing purpose. Some may helps in protection from herbivorous animals, and they helps in vegetative propagation, vegetative reproduction. These are the functions of stems. I hope the students understand, everyone. Okay? And let us see now the modifications of the stems briefly. Briefly, the modification of the stem. Before that you have to know, stems are divided into three types. Stems are divided into three types. Namely, underground stems, aerial stems, and subaerial stems. Stems are of three types. Stems are divided into three types. The three types of stems are underground stems, aerial stems, subaerial stems. In some plants, stems grow below the soil, and those are called as underground stems. Usually, in majority of the plants, the stems grow above the ground. They are visible to us, and those are called as aerial stems. If part of the stem is aerial, part of the stem is underground, such stems are called as subaerial stems. Part of the stem is aerial, part of the stem is underground, then such type of stems are called as subaerial stems. So there are three types of stems are there. Now let us see the modifications of the stems briefly. There are three types of stem modifications. Okay? Namely, underground stem modifications, then aerial stem modifications, and subaerial stem modifications. So, in order to perform other functions other than their normal functions, stem is modified, and those are called as stem modifications. Okay? These are permanent changes. These are permanent changes occurs in some plants. When a permanent change occurs in the structure of a stem to perform new functions other than the normal functions are called as stem modifications. These stem modifications are broadly divided into three types, namely underground stem modifications, aerial stem modifications, subaerial stem modifications. These underground stem modifications are useful for storage of food material. They helps in vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, as I said already. Underground stem modifications helps in storage of food material and also vegetative propagation. They also act as organs of pernation. Organs of pernation means, what is the meaning of organs of pernation? It means they can survive during unfavorable conditions. They can also survive during unfavorable conditions. That is why they act as organs of pernation. As they are going below the soil, if the conditions are not favorable, they can take rest inside the soil and they can survive during that unfavorable conditions. And that is called organs of pernation. Underground stems helps in storage of food. Underground stems helps in vegetative propagation. Underground stems also act as organs of pernation. And these are of the following types. Namely, 1. Rhizome. Horizontally growing underground stem is called rhizome. Second one is the culm. Vertically growing underground stem is called culm. Third one, stem tuber. And the fourth one is the bulb. Okay. So underground stems are of 4 types. The 4 types of underground stems are rhizome, culm, stem tuber, bulb. For example, ginger and turmeric are example for rhizome, horizontally growing underground stem. Vertically growing underground stems are called culms. Best example is Jaminkand and Colocasia. Stem tuber, potato. Potato tuber is a stem. It is not a root because it contains nodes and internodes. It contains nodes and internodes. And bulb is the onion, that is Allium cepa. So these are the examples of underground stem modifications. Next one is aerial stem modifications. Briefly, I will explain these also. Aerial stem modifications. These aerial stem modifications include stem tendrils, thorns, and phylloclades. Stem tendrils. What are tendrils? Tendrils are slender, weak, coiled structures meant for support. These are commonly seen in gourds, cucumber, watermelon, pumpkin. These are known as commonly gourds. Similarly, grapevines. In grapevines and gourds, tendrils are formed. What is a tendril? Tendril is a slender, weak, coiled structure meant for support. Thorns are woody, pointed structures meant for protection. These thorns act as defensive organs. These are seen in bougainvillea. These are seen in bougainvillea, citrus, etc. And similarly, the plants which are growing in arid zones, dry area, desert area, the leaves are modified into spines or scale leaves. Therefore, the stem is modified into leaf-like structure. Those modified leaf-like stems are called phylloclades. The phylloclade may be cylindrical or flat-ended. The phylloclade may be cylindrical in shape. For example, euphorbia. Similarly, the stem may be flat-ended, leaf-like in case of opuntia. Opuntia shows flat-ended phylloclade. Euphorbia shows cylindrical phylloclades. Bougainvillea and citrus contain thorns. Gourds and also grapevines shows stem tendrils. These are examples of aerial stem modifications. And finally, subaerial stem modifications. I told you already, if a stem is partly underground and partly aerial, they are called as subaerial stem modifications. Subaerial stems and the modifications in them are called subaerial stem modifications. Okay? These are 4 types, namely runners. Second one, stolons. Third one, suckers. And fourth one, offsets. Subaerial stems are divided into 4 types. What is a runner? These stems are creeping on the ground. At the point of contact, it produces adventitious roots. And these stems are called as runners as they run on the ground. They creep on the ground. It is having nodes and internodes. At every node, there are adventitious roots. As older stems disintegrate and new stems grow on the ground, and they are helps in vegetative propagation. All subaerial stems are useful in vegetative propagation. Example is grasses, strawberry, oxalis, etc. Stolons are branches. Stolons are branches arises from base of the stem, which grow obliquely upward for some time and then touches the ground. These branches arises from the base of the stem are called as stolons. Seen in jasmine and mint. Jasmine and mint. I am explaining only briefly. We are not going deep into the account. Only we are teaching peripherally these basic points. Okay? Similarly, suckers are also branches. These branches arises from underground part of the stem at nodes which grow obliquely upwards. I repeat again, suckers are the branches arises from the underground part of the stem which grow obliquely upwards, and these branches cut and sown somewhere else, it grow into a new plant, and these branches are called as suckers. The best examples of suckers are banana, pineapple, chrysanthemum, etc. Banana contain both rhizome and suckers. Banana contain both rhizome and suckers. And finally, offsets. These offsets are commonly found in freshwater plants like Pistia eichhornia. Water plants. These are commonly present in Pistia eichhornia. Okay? In these plants, the stems are of these are one internodal length branches. These are one internodal length branches. On the lower side of the node, it produces adventitious roots. On the upper side, it produces leaves. Okay? And from the axilla of the leaves, axillary buds are present. These buds again gives rise to branches of one internodal length. And these branches helps in vegetative propagation. And these are known as offsets. So, subaerial stem modifications are divided into 4 types, namely runners, stolons, suckers, and offsets. Okay? So this is a brief account of the stem, students. I hope you understand, all of you. And tomorrow we will go to the another organ, that is the leaf. Any doubts regarding this so far? Are you followed everyone? Understood carefully? Okay. Right. Thank you. See you again.